Xiaomi Inc. is a privately owned Chinese electronics company headquartered in Beijing, China. It is the world's fourth-largest smartphone maker. Xiaomi designs, develops, and sells smartphones, mobile apps, and related consumer electronics. Since the release of its first smartphone in August 2011, Xiaomi has gained market share in mainland China and expanded into developing a wider range of consumer electronics, including a smart home device ecosystem. The company's founder and CEO is Lei Jun, China's 23rd richest person according to Forbes. The company sold over 60 million smartphones in 2014. The company has over 8,000 employees, mainly in mainland China, Malaysia, and Singapore, and is expanding to other countries such as India, Indonesia, the Philippines and Brazil. According to IDC, Xiaomi is now the third largest smartphone maker in the world, followed by Lenovo and LG at fourth and fifth place respectively. Samsung remains at the first place despite declining shipment volume, followed by Apple Inc. at second place. Xiaomi also became the largest smartphone vendor in China in 2014, having overtaken Samsung, according to an IDC report. At the end of December 2014, Xiaomi became the world's most valuable technology startup after it received $1.1 billion funding from investors, making Xiaomi's valuation more than $46 billion. Xiaomi entered the Indian market in July 2014 and since then has expanded rapidly in India. Earlier, Xiaomi used to sell exclusively on Flipkart until announced its partnership with both Amazon.com and Snapdeal on April 7, 2015. This is seen as a bid by the smartphone manufacturer to expand its retail base in India. It has also teamed up with Airtel Store and the mobile store to sell some of its selected devices. Later, in Q1 2015, it started its own store and also stopped selling its accessories to Flipkart and other online stores. On its first anniversary in India, it launched its own Mi Store app. On August 11, 2015, it started its first factory in Sri City, Andhra Pradesh in a partnership with Foxconn. Etymology: Xiaomi is the Chinese word for millet. In 2011, its CEO Lei Jun suggested there are more meanings than just the millet and rice. He linked the "xiao" part to the Buddhist concept that a single grain of rice of a Buddhist is as great as a mountain, suggesting Xiaomi wants to work from the little things, instead of starting by striving for perfection. While Mi is an acronym for Mobile Internet and also Mission Impossible, referring to the obstacles encountered in starting the company. He also stated that he thinks the name is cute. In 2012, President Lei Jun said that the name is about revolution and being able to bring innovation into a new area. Several sources have linked the latter meaning to the Communist Party of China's millet and rifle revolutionary idiom during the Second Sino-Japanese War. History: Xiaomi was co-founded by 8 partners on April 6, 2010. In the first round of funding, institutional investors included Temasek Holdings, a Singaporean government-owned investment vehicle, the Chinese venture capital funds IDG Capital and Keeming Venture Partners, and mobile processor developer Qualcomm. On August 16, 2010, Xiaomi officially launched its first Android-based firmware MIUI. The Xiaomi Mi 1 smartphone was announced in August 2011. It was shipped with Xiaomi's MIUI firmware, which is based on Android and resembles Samsung's TouchWiz and Apple's iOS. The device could also be equipped with stock Android. In August 2012, Xiaomi announced the Xiaomi Mi 2 smartphone. The phone was powered by Qualcomm's Snapdragon S4 Pro APQ8064, a 1.5 GHz quad-core Crate chip featuring with 2 GB of RAM and the Adreno 320 GPU. The company said on September 24, 2013 that the company had sold over 10 million Mi 2 devices over the preceding 11 months. Mi 2 smartphones were sold by wireless phone vendor Mobicity in the United States, Europe, United Kingdom, Australia and New Zealand. On September 5, 2013, Xiaomi CEO Lei Jun officially announced plans to launch an Android-based 47-inch 3D-capable smart TV, which will be assembled by Sony TV manufacturer Wistron Corporation of Taiwan. The company explained the choices to take advantage of Wistron's skill as a supplier of Sony. In September 2013, Xiaomi announced its Mi 3 phone, with a version powered by the Snapdragon 800 and another by NVIDIA's Tegra 4 chipset. On September 25, 2013, Xiaomi announced plans to open its first-ever service center in Beijing. By October 2013, Xiaomi was reported as the fifth most used smartphone brand in China. In 2013, it sold 18.7 million smartphones and 26.1 million smartphones in first half of 2014. In 2014, Xiaomi announced its international expansion outside of China with their first stop in Singapore. The international headquarters will also be set up in the city-state, which will coordinate all activities including future product launches in the region. Xiaomi's Redmi and Mi 3 phone made their debuts in Singapore on February 21 and March 7 respectively. On March 7, Xiaomi Mi 3 batches sold out within 2 minutes of the opening day sale in Singapore. Following Singapore, the company has already landed in Malaysia, Philippines and India, and also has plans to enter Indonesia, Thailand, Russia, Turkey, Brazil and Mexico in the following months. On March 17, 2014, Redmi Note was announced by Xiaomi CEO Lei Jun. The Redmi Note features a 5.5-inch HD display with OGS technology and an octa-core processor from MediaTek. There are two variants of the Redmi Note. One with 1 GB of RAM and 8 GB of internal storage, and the other with 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of internal storage. The phablet was made available for pre-order on March 19 exclusively through a mobile application from Tencent. In April 2014, Xiaomi purchased a new domain, mi.com, for a record $3.6 million. Mi.com becomes the most expensive domain name ever bought in China as confirmed by a senior executive of Xiaomi. Mi.com replaces Xiaomi.com as the official website domain of Xiaomi. In Q2 2014, Xiaomi shipped 15 million devices or 14% of China's market share and beats Samsung, which shipped slightly more than 13 million. By July 2014, it had sold 57.36 million phones. In November 2014, Xiaomi said it will invest $1 billion in television content building. The investment is aimed at enriching the company's content and becoming a bellwether for the industry. In December 2014, Xiaomi completed its latest round of equity financing led by Hong Kong-based technology fund All Stars Investment Limited, a fund run by former Morgan Stanley analyst Richard G, raising over $1 billion proceeds with a valuation of more than $45 billion. Making it one of the most valuable private technology companies in the world. In April 2015, Xiaomi announced it is making its Mi devices available through two of India's major e-commerce sites and offline retailers for the first time. The company first entered India via an exclusive retail partnership with Flipkart. On April 23, 2015, Xiaomi CEO Lei Jun and VP Hugo Barra came together to announce a new flagship product named Mi 4i in India. Mi 4i became the first phone to be launched in India before anywhere else in the globe and is supposed to be inspired from Indian demand. Mi Band was also launched in the same event. On June 30, 2015, Xiaomi announced its foray into Brazil with the launch of locally manufactured Redmi 2. The first time the company sells a smartphone outside Asia or assembles one outside of China. Business model. In selling the Xiaomi smartphone, Xiaomi employs a strategy that is very unlike other smartphone makers such as Samsung and Apple. Lei Jun, Xiaomi CEO, said that the company prices the phone almost at bill of material prices, without compromising the component quality and performance compared to other premium smartphones. To profit from the narrow margin, Xiaomi sells a model for up to 18 months instead of the short 6 months used by Samsung to profit from the fall in the cost of components that occurs over time. It also profits by selling phone-related peripheral devices, smart home products, in addition to apps, online videos and themes. In the long term, the company sees the hardware sales just as a means of delivering software and services. As explained by Hugo Barra, "We are an internet and a software company much more than a hardware company, to further reduce overhead costs." Xiaomi does not own a single physical store and instead sells exclusively from its own online store. It also did away with traditional advertising and relies on social networking services as well as its own customers to help advertise its products. Furthermore, by keeping a tight control over its stock, Xiaomi is able to place cheaper batch orders as demand dictates. Limited availability flash sales ensure that supply never outstrips demand and helps create a free marketing buzz around its products. On the other hand, traditional OEMs have to incur large upfront production costs in order to ship smartphones out to retailers all around the world, some of which may not sell. This is far more expensive than Xiaomi's model, and it's the consumers that end up paying the difference. In terms of building a strong and loyal consumer base, Xiaomi's approach involves listening closely to customer feedback, having them test out upcoming features themselves, and building an extensive online community. One day, I pointed out to their R&D boss some inadequacies. After that, they merely acknowledged my input, but never acted upon what I had said. So I thought to myself, if I make a phone, you can tell me anything you wish for it or what's wrong. If it is justifiable, we will work on it immediately. I'll give you an update every week and you may even see your wishes come true within a week. In practice, Xiaomi's product managers dedicate a lot of time browsing through the company's user forums. Once a suggestion is picked up, it is quickly transferred to the engineers. Therefore, features can turn from mere concept to shipping products in the span of a week. The company then ships a new batch of phones out every week on Tuesday at noon Beijing time, containing the new software builds and possible minor hardware tweaks. Xiaomi calls this process design as you build. Finally, by making its operating system MIUI open for download on other Android phones, it has made Xiaomi's apps and content more easily accessible, widening the potential to provide services to more users. The Xiaomi products are manufactured by Foxconn and Inventec. According to the report released by patent litigation consulting firm LexInnova in May 2015, Xiaomi has 101 U.S. patents with only 2 granted patents. Xiaomi's mascot is a bunny wearing an ushanka with a red star and a red scarf around its neck.